The scarcity mindset is a deeply ingrained belief that resources, whether time, money, opportunities, or even love, are finite and always insufficient. This belief can shape every aspect of our lives, influencing how we think, act, and interact with others. The origins of the scarcity mindset often lie in experiences of lack or insecurity, whether they stem from childhood, cultural conditioning, or challenging life circumstances. Over time, these experiences condition individuals to focus intensely on what they don't have, rather than on what they do. This focus on insufficiency creates a mental framework where everything seems limited, leading to constant worry and stress. When someone operates with a scarcity mindset, their thoughts are often dominated by what is missing. This preoccupation affects their ability to see the bigger picture and hampers creative problem solving. For example, if someone believes there is not enough time to complete a task, they may rush through it, overlooking quality or innovative approaches. This sense of urgency and limitation can create a self-fulfilling prophecy where the very fear of lack causes them to act in ways that perpetuate the feeling of scarcity. Instead of thinking expansively, the individual becomes fixated on immediate survival. The scarcity mindset also affects relationships, both personal and professional. In a workplace, for instance, someone with this mindset may view colleagues as competitors rather than collaborators. They may hoard information, avoid sharing credit, or even sabotage others to protect their own position. This creates a culture of mistrust and isolation, where everyone is focused on guarding their piece of the pie rather than working together to create a bigger pie. Similarly, in personal relationships, a scarcity mindset might manifest as jealousy or possessiveness, driven by the fear of losing love or attention. This fear can lead to strained interactions and a lack of openness, making it difficult to build deep, meaningful connections. From a broader perspective, the scarcity mindset impacts how individuals perceive opportunities. When someone believes that opportunities are rare, they may hesitate to take risks, fearing failure or rejection. This hesitation can prevent them from pursuing goals, embracing change, or exploring new paths. Paradoxically, this fear of scarcity can lead to missed opportunities, reinforcing the belief that opportunities are limited. It's a cycle that keeps people stuck, unable to move forward, because they're too focused on protecting what they have rather than seeking what they could gain. One of the most significant ways the scarcity mindset manifests is through financial behaviors. People who believe that money is always scarce may develop unhealthy habits, such as excessive saving or impulsive spending. Excessive saving stems from the fear of losing what little they have, while impulsive spending often arises from the desire to feel a temporary sense of abundance. Both behaviors are rooted in a scarcity-driven need for control, reflecting a deep-seated anxiety about the future. This mindset can also prevent individuals from investing in opportunities for growth, such as education, training, or starting a business, because they see such investments as risks rather than potential rewards. The scarcity mindset doesn't only affect individuals, it can influence entire communities and organizations. In communities where resources are genuinely limited, the scarcity mindset often becomes a shared reality. People may view others as threats to their survival, leading to conflict and division. This dynamic can make it challenging to build a sense of unity or trust, as everyone is focused on their immediate needs rather than the collective good. In organizations, a scarcity mindset among leaders can result in micromanagement, short-term thinking, and a reluctance to innovate. Leaders who fear failure may avoid taking bold steps, limiting the organization's potential for growth and success. At its core, the scarcity mindset is a perspective that limits possibilities. It narrows focus, emphasizing what is lacking rather than what is available. This tunnel vision can prevent individuals from recognizing the resources they do have, whether it's their skills, relationships, or unique opportunities. It creates a sense of helplessness, where people feel like they're constantly fighting against insurmountable odds. This feeling of being stuck can lead to frustration, burnout, and even depression, as the weight of perceived limitations becomes overwhelming. The scarcity mindset also influences how people set goals and measure success. When someone believes that resources are scarce, they may set low expectations for themselves, believing that aiming higher is unrealistic or risky. They may also judge their success based on comparisons to others, fueling feelings of envy and inadequacy. This comparison trap is another manifestation of scarcity, as it focuses on what others have rather than what is achievable for oneself. Over time, this can erode self-confidence and reinforce the belief that success is out of reach. While the scarcity mindset can feel all-encompassing, it's important to understand that it is not an inherent trait, but a learned behavior. Recognizing its impact is the first step toward challenging and reshaping it. By understanding how this mindset operates, individuals can begin to question its validity and explore new ways of thinking that promote growth, connection, and abundance. The scarcity mindset has a profound impact on decision-making, often leading individuals to make choices that are driven more by fear and insecurity than by logic or opportunity. When someone is operating from a place of scarcity, their decision-making process becomes heavily influenced by the belief that resources are limited and that any misstep could result in loss. This mindset creates a heightened sense of urgency and stress, making it difficult to think clearly and consider all available options. At the heart of the scarcity mindset's effect on decision-making is the way it narrows focus. When individuals perceive a lack of resources, their attention becomes fixated on addressing immediate concerns or deficits. This tunnel vision makes it challenging to think long-term or to weigh the potential benefits of different choices. For example, someone who is worried about money may focus solely on cutting expenses rather than exploring ways to increase their income. This limited perspective often leads to reactive decisions rather than proactive strategies, trapping individuals in a cycle of short-term thinking. Another way the scarcity mindset impacts decision-making is through risk aversion. People who operate with a scarcity mindset tend to avoid taking risks because they fear losing what little they have. This fear of failure can prevent them from pursuing opportunities that could lead to growth or improvement. For instance, an employee might hesitate to ask for a promotion or take on a challenging project, fearing rejection or criticism. This reluctance to step out of their comfort zone often results in missed opportunities and stagnation, reinforcing the belief that resources and success are hard to come by. In addition to risk aversion, the scarcity mindset can also lead to impulsive decision-making. When individuals perceive a resource as scarce, they may feel an overwhelming urgency to act quickly before the opportunity is gone. This sense of urgency can lead to hasty decisions that are not well thought out. For example, someone who believes that job opportunities are rare might accept the first offer they receive, even if it's not the right fit for their skills or long-term goals. Similarly, a business owner might rush to secure a deal out of fear of losing a client, even if the terms are unfavorable. These impulsive choices often create more challenges down the road, perpetuating the cycle of scarcity. The scarcity mindset also affects how people allocate their time and energy. When someone feels that they don't have enough time to accomplish everything, they may prioritize tasks based on urgency rather than importance. This can lead to a constant state of busyness without meaningful progress. For example, a student who feels overwhelmed by a heavy workload might spend hours on minor assignments while neglecting major projects or studying for exams. This misallocation of time can create a sense of spinning their wheels, where they're working hard but not achieving their desired outcomes. On a psychological level, the scarcity mindset can impair cognitive functioning and decision-making abilities. Studies have shown that when people are preoccupied with scarcity, their mental bandwidth is consumed by thoughts of what they lack. This cognitive load leaves less capacity for critical thinking, problem-solving, and planning. For example, someone who is stressed about financial struggles might find it difficult to focus on their job or make informed investment decisions. This diminished mental capacity can lead to a cycle of poor decision-making, where the consequences of one bad choice create additional stress and further limit cognitive resources. The scarcity mindset also influences how individuals perceive the options available to them. When operating from a place of scarcity, people are more likely to see their choices as limited, even when other opportunities exist. This perception can lead to a sense of helplessness, where individuals feel trapped by their circumstances and unable to improve their situation. For example, An entrepreneur who believes that funding is scarce might give up on seeking investors, not realizing that there are alternative sources of support available. This self-imposed limitation prevents them from exploring creative solutions and leaves them stuck in a state of inertia. In group settings, the scarcity mindset can affect collective decision-making as well. Teams or organizations that operate from a place of scarcity may focus on protecting existing resources rather than pursuing growth or innovation. For example, a company facing financial challenges might cut back on research and development, fearing that new initiatives will be too risky. While this approach may provide short-term stability, it often undermines long-term success by stifling creativity and progress. Similarly, in communities where resources are limited, a scarcity mindset can lead to conflict and competition rather than collaboration, making it difficult to achieve shared goals. The impact of the scarcity mindset on decision-making is not limited to individuals and groups. It can also shape societal behaviors and policies. So, for instance, policymakers who operate from a scarcity perspective may prioritize cost-cutting measures over investments in infrastructure, education, or healthcare. While these measures may address immediate budget concerns, they can have long-term consequences that perpetuate inequality and limit opportunities for growth. On a societal level, the scarcity mindset can create a culture of fear and mistrust, where people are more focused on protecting what they have than on building a better future. Understanding how the scarcity mindset influences decision-making is essential for breaking free from its limitations and opening the door to new possibilities. Recognizing the ways in which scarcity shapes choices allows individuals to question their assumptions, broaden their perspective, and make decisions that are aligned with their values and goals. By shifting from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance, individuals can begin to see challenges as opportunities and take proactive steps toward creating a more fulfilling and successful life. The scarcity mindset significantly impacts relationships by fostering an environment of competition and mistrust rather than collaboration and connection. When individuals perceive that resources, whether they be love, attention, time, or opportunities, are limited, they often view others as competitors rather than allies. This perception creates barriers to building meaningful and supportive relationships, as the focus shifts from mutual growth to self-preservation. Over time, these dynamics can erode trust, create tension, and hinder the development of deep, fulfilling connections. One of the most noticeable effects of the scarcity mindset on relationships is the tendency to compare oneself to others. People operating from this mindset may constantly measure their achievements, possessions, or status against those of their peers. This comparison can lead to feelings of envy, resentment, and inadequacy, which strain relationships and create a sense of rivalry. Instead of celebrating the successes of others, individuals with a scarcity mindset may feel threatened by them, fearing that someone else's gain diminishes their own potential for success. This outlook prevents them from fully supporting or rejoicing in the achievements of those around them, which can create distance and emotional disconnection. In personal relationships, the scarcity mindset often manifests as jealousy or possessiveness. When someone fears that love or attention is limited, they may become overly protective or controlling of their partner, friends, or family members. This fear can lead to behaviors such as constant checking in, questioning loyalty, or trying to monopolize someone's time and energy. These actions, although rooted in insecurity, can make others feel suffocated or mistrusted, ultimately pushing them away. The scarcity mindset can also create a reluctance to share feelings or vulnerabilities, as individuals may fear rejection or judgment. This lack of openness and trust makes it difficult to establish genuine intimacy and mutual understanding. In professional relationships, the scarcity mindset can lead to hoarding information or resources, as individuals fear that sharing could undermine their own position or advantage. For example, an employee might withhold valuable insights or data from colleagues, believing that keeping this information to themselves will make them more indispensable or competitive. While this approach might provide short-term security, it undermines teamwork and collaboration in the long run. When colleagues sense that someone is unwilling to contribute to the group's success, it creates resentment and weakens the overall effectiveness of the team. This dynamic can also prevent organizations from fostering a culture of innovation and trust, as employees prioritize individual gain over collective progress. The scarcity mindset can also affect how people perceive and interpret the actions of others. When operating from a place of scarcity, individuals are more likely to assume negative intentions or motives. For instance, someone might interpret a friend's success as a sign that their own opportunities are dwindling, or view a colleague's promotion as evidence of favoritism rather than merit. This tendency to see others as threats rather than partners creates unnecessary conflict and prevents people from forming mutually supportive relationships. It also perpetuates a cycle of isolation, as mistrust and suspicion push others away and reinforce the belief that relationships are fragile or unreliable. Another way the scarcity mindset influences relationships is through the reluctance to ask for or offer help. People who believe that resources are scarce may hesitate to seek assistance, fearing that doing so will make them appear weak or indebted. Similarly, they may be reluctant to help others, worrying that offering support will deplete their own resources or leave them vulnerable. This reluctance to engage in reciprocal giving and receiving creates a disconnect, as relationships thrive on mutual support and generosity. When individuals hold back out of fear, they miss out on the opportunity to strengthen bonds and create a sense of shared purpose. In family dynamics, the scarcity mindset can contribute to competition and conflict among siblings, parents, or extended family members. For example, siblings might compete for parental attention, believing that love and support are finite. This competition can create long-lasting rifts and prevent family members from working together to achieve common goals. Similarly, parents operating from a scarcity mindset might impose strict rules or limitations on their children, fearing that failure to do so will jeopardize their future success. While these actions are often well-intentioned, they can create feelings of pressure and inadequacy in children, making it difficult for them to develop healthy self-esteem and relationships later in life. The scarcity mindset also impacts how individuals communicate and resolve conflicts within relationships. When people operate from a place of scarcity, they may approach disagreements defensively or aggressively, fearing that compromise will result in loss. This mindset makes it difficult to engage in open, constructive dialogue, as the focus shifts to protecting one's position rather than finding a mutually beneficial solution. Over time, this defensive approach can lead to unresolved conflicts and lingering resentment, further weakening the foundation of the relationship. In romantic relationships, the scarcity mindset can create unrealistic expectations or demands, as individuals seek constant reassurance that their needs will be met. For example, someone might expect their partner to prioritize them above all else, fearing that any deviation signals a lack of commitment or love. These expectations can place undue strain on the relationship, as the partner may feel unable to meet such demands without sacrificing their own needs or priorities. This dynamic creates a cycle of dissatisfaction, where both parties feel unfulfilled and misunderstood. Understanding how the scarcity mindset influences relationships is essential for breaking free from its limitations. By recognizing the ways in which this mindset shapes interactions and perceptions, individuals can begin to challenge their assumptions and adopt a more abundant perspective. Relationships built on trust, openness, and mutual support thrive when individuals are able to see beyond the constraints of scarcity and focus on the possibilities for connection and growth. The scarcity mindset has a profound effect on leadership, shaping how leaders think, act, and make decisions. When leaders operate from a place of scarcity, their focus is often on preserving what they have, rather than fostering growth, innovation, or collaboration. This approach can create a cycle of distrust, insecurity, and stagnation within organizations, limiting both the leader's potential and the collective success of their team or organization. Leadership rooted in a scarcity mindset prioritizes short-term survival over long-term vision, which can have far-reaching consequences for the culture and performance of a team. One of the most noticeable ways the scarcity mindset manifests in leadership is through micromanagement. Leaders who perceive resources, whether time, talent, or opportunities, as limited often feel the need to control every detail to minimize perceived risks. This approach stifles creativity and autonomy among team members as employees feel restricted and unable to contribute their full potential. Micromanagement creates a sense of frustration and disengagement as individuals feel that their efforts are undervalued or that they are not trusted to perform their roles effectively. Over time, this dynamic can lead to high turnover as talented employees seek environments where they are empowered and supported. Another hallmark of the scarcity mindset in leadership is a focus on competition rather than collaboration. Collaboration. Leaders who operate from a place of scarcity often see others, whether internal team members, other departments, or external organizations, as threats rather than potential partners. This perspective can lead to siloed work environments where information is hoarded and collaboration is discouraged. For example, a leader might withhold important data from other departments out of fear that sharing it will diminish their own influence or position. This lack of collaboration not only hinders the flow of ideas, but also creates a culture of mistrust and division, making it difficult for teams to achieve shared goals. Leaders influenced by the scarcity mindset often prioritize short-term gains over long-term growth. This focus on immediate results can lead to decisions that sacrifice sustainability or innovation for the sake of quick wins. For example, a leader might cut costs by reducing investments in employee training, research, or technology upgrades, believing that these expenditures are unnecessary luxuries. While such decisions may improve short-term financial performance, they can undermine the organization's ability to adapt and thrive in the future. This short-sighted approach often leaves organizations ill-prepared for challenges or changes in the market, limiting their potential for sustained success. The scarcity mindset also affects how leaders perceive and handle risk. Leaders operating from a place of scarcity tend to be overly cautious, fearing that taking risks will result in failure or loss. This fear of failure can prevent them from pursuing bold initiatives or embracing innovative ideas, even when those ideas have the potential to drive significant growth or change. For example, a leader might reject a proposal for a new product line, fearing that the investment is too risky, even though the product has strong market potential. This reluctance to take calculated risks can lead to missed opportunities and a reputation for being stagnant or outdated in a competitive landscape. Another significant impact of the scarcity mindset on leadership is the creation of a hierarchical, top-down culture. Leaders who operate from scarcity often centralize decision-making, believing that delegating authority will weaken their control or dilute their influence. This approach can make employees feel disempowered and disengaged, as they are not given the autonomy or responsibility to contribute meaningfully to the organization's goals. A top-down culture also stifles innovation, as ideas and feedback from frontline employees are often overlooked or dismissed. Over time, this can lead to a lack of motivation and a decline in overall organizational performance. Leaders influenced by the scarcity mindset may also struggle with giving credit or recognition to others. They may fear that acknowledging the contributions of their team will diminish their own status or authority. This reluctance to celebrate the successes of others can create resentment among employees who may feel undervalued